This is Mind Body Connection, Mind Over Matter by Timm and Madison Williams. A little bit about us. I'm Timm. I'm a junior. I'm an HEP major with a emphasis in physical education. Someday I'd love to be a baseball, football, or basketball coach, and I played college baseball at Highland Community College before coming to Platteville.
I'm Madison Williams. I'm a senior here in Platteville, but I'm graduating in May. I'm majoring in biology with an emphasis in pre-physician assistant studies, and I actually just finished my last season as a UW-Platteville women's basketball player. I also work as a certified nursing assistant, and therefore I want to work in the healthcare field because I love helping others and I want everyone to be in good health in order to live a long, happy life. So what does it mean to have mind over matter? Mind over matter is the idea that willpower and mindfulness can allow an individual to overcome physical problems that they are facing, whether that be mentally or physically. From the film Heal, there are ideas that provided the notion that we have more power to heal than what we have been told or thought to believe. So basically, healing can start with the mind, and by changing our perception and beliefs, we can help influence the type of chemicals that are being released from our brain and into our body. So if you think positive, then positive chemicals are being released, then therefore can help benefit you in a positive way, whether that be mentally or physically. And a quote from the film Heal that I really liked was, "The power that made the body can heal the body." That just starts with finding and accessing greater intelligence among ourselves.
A little more of history of mind over matter. You have the expectancy theory, and what that is mind over matter follows the same guidelines as expectancy theory. So there was a theory by Victor Vroom, and what he said here assumes that an individual's behavior results from conscious choices because they are motivated. And so a little more what he says, he selects a specific behavior over others due to what they expect the result of that selected behavior will be, and that's known as the Vroom's expectancy theory. The motivation behavior can occur while the individual believes, 1, there is a positive correlation between efforts and performance, 2, favorably performance will result in desirable reward, 3, the reward will satisfy an important need, and 4, the desire to satisfy the need is strong enough to make the effort worthwhile.
So some more history to go along with the mind over matter mindset is the idea of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is a form of psychotherapy that helps an individual understand how their thoughts and feelings can affect their body and behavior. It was developed in the 1960s by Aaron T. Beck with the idea that negative thoughts and feelings can lead to problematic implications for the individual both mentally and physically. So when talking to a therapist, you should be able to talk about your feelings and thoughts and then understand how if you think positive, then this will translate to feeling better overall in your behaviors and daily living. And CBT is actually currently being used to treat disorders like anxiety, depression, phobias, and addictions.
Our first article's name was Mind Over Matter. It's by Colin Martin. And what he says in there, an individual perceptions and experiences arise within the physical matter, so that is the brain itself. Rene Descartes created the theory of dualism, and that's believing that the mind and body are connected through the pineal gland. And the pineal gland it's in your brain, and it controls your melatonin and your levels of sleep and everything like that. Another study found that Santiago Ramon E. Cajal identified the role of neurons and the great number of interconnections in the brain.
So the second article that we chose to review is the Mind Over Matter, Mental Training Increases Physical Strength. This was a study that focused and tested whether mental training alone could actually increase muscular strength. And in this specific study, they targeted hip flexor muscles due to the fact that the participants being studied did not consciously try to increase or better their hip flexors necessarily by their daily strength training programs. So the participants that were included were 30 university male athletes who participated in football, basketball, and rugby. And through randomization, there were 3 groups of 10 that were assigned with either mental training, physical training, or the control training. The mental training involved rehearsing the motor skill of hip extensions by using mental imagery of themselves performing it successfully. So therefore, no muscular activity actually occurred. The physical training involved actual muscular activity by using a hip flexor weight machine. And then the control training program had no mental or physical training. So this study's training entailed both a pre- and post-strength training tests that were recorded for all 30 participants. The mental training program involved a 2-week program with 5 training sessions of 15 minutes each week. And these participants were instructed to mentally envision themselves using the hip flexor machine for 4 sets of 8 reps, followed by a minute of rest. And at each session, they were instructed for them to imagine increasing the lifted weight by 5 pounds each day. The physical training program was the same as the mental training one, but they were actually physically performed. Additional weight was added every 3 sessions since available weights on the machine increased by 15-pound increments. The study found that only a trivial and non-significant gain in strength occurred in the control training, which is expected because they did not perform any of the mental or physical training. However, both mental and physical training treatments allowed for significant increase in weight that the participants could lift in their hip flexors. The increase was similar between the 2 training groups, with one being 23.7% and 28.3% respectively. So this goes to show that the mind can improve physical performance without the need of physical exertion. The researchers made note that the central nervous system activity is very powerful and can be as impactful as long-term muscular strength.
Another article we looked at was called Mind Matters, Placebo Enhances Reward Learning in Parkinson's Disease. So what Parkinson's disease is, it's where dopamine plays a role in our mind and it makes us feel good about ourselves. And in that fact of reward, motivation, and learning. And Parkinson's disease does not have dopamine as much as a regular human being does. So what researchers did, they did a study on patients with Parkinson's disease. They gave the patients a placebo. And what a placebo is like a fake pill, so it could be like a sugar pill or something like that, but it makes you think that you're actually getting better. So they did that to see if they could enhance the performance of dopamine in their system. So after the studies got done, they found that placebo did help patients release that dopamine in their system, and there was a significant spike in their motivation, motor, and learning systems.
So the last article that we chose to review was the randomized controlled trial of cognitive behavioral therapy versus standard treatment to prevent recurrent cardiovascular events in patients with coronary heart disease. This study focused on the effects of CBT and if they would have any positive impacts on cardiovascular disease, as well as leading to decrease in recurrence of any events. The participants included 362 men and women who were 75 years or younger and had been discharged from the hospital after a coronary heart disease related event. Randomization determined whether a participant would receive traditional care or traditional care plus a CBT program over a 1-year period. So the CBT program had 5 key components that involved education, self-monitoring, skills training, cognitive restructuring, and spiritual development. And it also focused on stress management, like how to cope with the stress and reducing experience of daily stress, time urgency, and hostility. When the CBT program had finished, there was follow-up that had found that the group that received the treatment had a 41% lower rate of fatal and non-fatal first recurrent cardiovascular disease events, 45% fewer recurrent acute myocardial infarctions, and a non-significant 28% lower all-cause mortality. The researchers also found that there was correlation between attendance rate at the sessions and risk of recurring heart-related events. So the higher the attendance rates were, the lower the risk of these events happening. The researchers concluded that implementing a CBT program can decrease recurrent cardiovascular disease and acute myocardial infarctions.
We have practical applications of mind over matter now. The first one on the list is meditation. What meditation is, it's kind of finding that inner peace within yourself, that inner positive part of you. Next we have journaling. So what you could do with journaling is you could find out and find a notebook and write down what went good in the day, what went bad, and really focus on those and how you can be better the next day. Kind of along with journaling is positive self-talk and thinking. With that is you thinking while journaling and saying, hey, I'm going to do this better. Hey, I'm going to get an A on this test tomorrow. Along with that thinking that you are going to get an A on this test. And then with visualization, it kind of fits into all those with you got to visualize you doing that actually, and visualizing you get that A on that test. And then you need to make a routine every day, whether that's get up, you take a shower, eat breakfast, or get up, wake up, you take a shower, work out, eat breakfast, or something like that. Just keep it the same every day, and that helps your mind. And then exercising regularly, of course. Exercising is good for you mentally and physically, and it really helps your mind focus on what you need to do that day. So kind of like application, this one is how to implement mind over matter into daily life. So what we did like what a daily routine should look like if you had good mind over matter. So in the morning, you wake up, eat a healthy, nutritious breakfast, go for a run or workout. During this time, visualize how you're going to be productive today and get everything accomplished. If it's a Sunday, you're religious, go to church. That can always help you out. And during the day, spend time with your friends and family. Make a checklist of things you need to get done. Positively self-talk and motivate to self to finish the checklist. Enjoy doing what you love doing. At night, journal, write about how your day, how you felt, what was good, what was bad, what were the highs and lows, how could you personally make tomorrow a better day, include positive affirmations that imply successfulness in certain aspects of your life, and then set aside some time to visualize and self-talk situations where you will be successful. And then, of course, get a healthy amount of sleep.
In conclusion, our mind does have more power to heal than what we are led to believe. Having a positive mindset can lead to empowerment and feeling better both mentally and physically. The expectancy theory by Vroom can provide a basic guideline as to how the mind and thinking can lead to certain outcomes. Having positive thinking leads to desirable outcomes, while having negative thinking can lead to undesirable outcomes. Through cognitive behavioral therapy, it's a tool for individuals to understand how their thoughts and feelings can affect their moods and behaviors, and how to implement the mind over matter mindset in order to help combat physiological aspects occurring like anxiety and depression. From our 4 peer-reviewed articles, they all showed feedback that the mind really does affect the body's response to stimuli, whether that stimuli be internal or external. And having the mind over matter mindset can positively impact those who are combating diseases like cardiovascular disease and Parkinson's disease. And after all, having the mind over matter mindset can be an applicable mindset to daily life and can impact an individual in beneficial ways. And the more that you use the mind over matter mindset, the more positivity that you will continue to see the longer that you use this mindset.
Finally, we have connecting two standards. First off, we have a major standard, and what I picked here is leadership and collaboration. What leadership and collaboration is, it means that the teacher will take on the role of being a leader. They're the one everyone looks up into the classroom, and they look to go to them. Teachers are connected to each student's family, and they take responsibility for each student for their success and their failures. How that connects to mind over matter is that the teacher needs and will be the best teacher that they can be. And then they will show up to class and be a positive role model for each student.
So the ISTE standard for educators we chose was the learner standard. And this is where educators continually improve their practice by learning from and with others and exploring proven and promising practices that leverage technology to improve student learning. So applying the mind over matter mindset would bring forth the belief that 1, the educator can positively learn with and from others and retain beneficial teaching information. 2, their teaching material and style is improving student learning outcomes. And 3, that they will remain motivated to stay up to date with research that supports improved student learning.